Welcome to AI ConvoCast, where we bring you the latest in AI and tech innovation. Quick housekeeping. Check out the affiliate links in our description. Using them supports the show, and please don't forget to rate, review, and share if you like what you hear. Let's jump right in.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take complex stories and really break them down for you. Today, we're diving into a deal that's, well, it's not just big, it's kind of staggering, honestly. It's sending huge ripples through the whole AI world. Meta's massive, almost $15 billion investment in Scale AI.
Yeah, nearly $14.8 billion. It's huge. And this isn't just, money changing hands. It feels like a really strategic chess move that could fundamentally change how AI gets developed.
Absolutely. So in this deep dive, we're going to unpack why Meta, a company that's, let's be honest, faced some headwinds in AI lately, would make such a unique and significant investment right now.
Right. We'll dig into what it signals for the future of AI competition, which is already heating up like crazy, and maybe most importantly, what it tells us about how these big tech players are chasing the really ambitious goal of superintelligence.
And the first thing that hit the news alongside the dollar amount was, well, pretty major. Recruiting Scale AI's CEO Alexandr Wang. He's not just joining the board or advising.
No, he's actually stepping in to lead a completely new superintelligence lab right inside Meta.
Think about that. Their explicit goal, they're saying it outright, is to build AI that goes beyond human thinking power. It's
Right.
more than just a financial investment. It's a huge statement of ambition.
And a grab for top talent, clearly.
Definitely. But what's really interesting is the why now for Meta. Like you said, their AI journey hasn't exactly been smooth recently. Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO, has apparently been pretty frustrated.
Yeah, reports suggest frustration with how their Llama 4 models were received. Maybe not hitting the mark compared to competitors.
Right. They didn't quite catch fire like some others. And there have been, people leaving their AI teams, some key researchers heading elsewhere. That raises concerns about losing talent.
Which leads to delays, right? Delays in getting really competitive open source models out there that can stand up to, say, Google stuff, OpenAI, or even DeepSeek coming out of China.
Exactly. So the Scale AI investment, and especially bringing Wang himself in, it looks like Meta's big strategic pivot to try and tackle these challenges head on.
It's a pretty clear signal they know they need to make up ground, and fast.
So you've got Meta on one side, this tech giant kind of wrestling with its AI strategy, feeling the pressure. And then you have Scale AI, which has sort of quietly become this absolutely essential piece of the puzzle for so many other big names.
Right. For anyone not super familiar, Scale AI popped up in 2016. Founded by Alexandr Wang, who actually dropped out of MIT because he saw this massive bottleneck coming in AI.
Which was
The need for good, clean, labeled data, just tons of it. He basically built Scale AI into this powerhouse for data labeling. They provide the really high-quality training data and, importantly, the ways to evaluate AI models.
Okay.
Without that, these systems they don't work properly.
foundations for the building, right?
Yeah.
You need solid ground, solid materials. Scale AI provides that for AI.
Precisely. And Wang's own story is pretty incredible, too. Became the world's youngest self-made billionaire at 24. I mean, that tells you something about his vision and his ability to execute.
Wow, 24.
Yeah. And he built Scale AI into a company that, powers AI systems for almost everyone you've heard of. OpenAI, Microsoft, Google's Waymo even, for their self-driving cars.
So they started with autonomous vehicles.
Mostly, yeah. Labeling data so cars could see. But then they smartly expanded into large language models, realizing, hey, generative AI needs incredibly high-quality data, too. Maybe even more so.
So they became this key enabler for the whole generative AI boom we're seeing now, providing those foundational data sets that let models learn to write code, create images.
Exactly. Their work is just deeply embedded across the whole ecosystem. It's quite foundational.
Okay, so let's zero in on the deal itself, the core event. It was finalized June 13th, 2025. The nuts and bolts are: Meta bought a 49% stake in Scale AI.
For $14.3 billion, yeah. Which values Scale AI itself at, $29 billion? Just incredible numbers.
Absolutely eye-watering. But here's the really interesting part, the strategic angle. They structured it deliberately as a minority, non-voting stake.
Ah, right. That's key.
It feels like a really clever bit of corporate maneuvering in today's climate.
It really does. And you have to ask, why not just buy the whole thing, a full acquisition?
Exactly. What's the thinking there?
Well, it gives us a big clue about how tech giants are trying to navigate the whole antitrust situation, which is getting pretty intense.
Right. Regulators are watching every move.
Absolutely. So this minority non-voting stake seems specifically designed to try and sidestep that heavy regulatory scrutiny. A full takeover would almost certainly attract, investigations, delays.
All the headaches that come with trying to merge massive companies these days.
Exactly. So by doing it this way, Meta gets huge influence, they get access to scale AI's tech, and crucially, the talent Wang himself, without maybe triggering all the same anti-monopoly alarm bells.
It's a way to grab those critical assets and people without potentially getting bogged down in legal fights for years. Smart.
Very smart. And central to it all, like we mentioned, is Wang moving over to Meta, not just advising, but leading this brand new superintelligence lab.
And again, their stated goal isn't just better AI. It's AI that surpasses human cognitive abilities. That's a different level of ambition altogether.
It really puts Meta firmly in the race for, well, what people are calling AGI, artificial general intelligence, maybe even beyond.
If you look at Meta's history, this is their second biggest deal ever, right? After WhatsApp.
That's right. WhatsApp was $19 billion back in 2014. But this Scale AI deal is unique because it's their first really major minority investment in an outside company at this scale.
So it's not like they're just swallowing Scale AI whole.
No, it's more like a strategic partnership. It injects Meta with needed skills and talent, but Scale AI keeps its operational independence. And the money side shows this too. The deal gives big payouts to early investors. Excel, for instance, apparently got like $2.5 billion back.
Wow.
So it shows a different kind of investment strategy maybe, moving beyond just buying companies outright towards these more focused deals that grab talent and tech, give investors a return, but without the full integration hassle.
And it all comes back to the technology Scale AI has built, these advanced platforms for data labeling and model evaluation.
Exactly. They use sophisticated stuff like supervised learning, where humans teach the AI by labeling data, and really importantly, reinforcement learning from human feedback, RLHF.
RLHF, that's the thing that makes models like ChatGPT feel so useful and aligned.
Yeah, it's the secret sauce. Yeah, it's where human trainers basically coach the AI, giving it feedback to make its outputs better, safer, more helpful, like refining an athlete's technique over and over.
And Scale AI has become the masters of this, creating these super high-quality, human-checked data sets.
Pretty much. And those data sets are absolutely essential for training the really advanced large language models and the multimodal systems, the ones that handle text, images, sound that are coming out now. Without Scale's level of quality, those models just wouldn't be as good.
So industry folks are seeing this as a big deal, obviously. You mentioned strategic masterstroke.
Yeah, that was Anji Mida from Andreessen Horowitz. He's also on Mistral's board. He called it that, suggesting it could sort of rewrite the playbook for tech M&A in AI.
How so?
Well, he pointed out this interesting dynamic where big tech shifts often start proprietary, closed off, but then businesses tend to move towards the benefits of open source eventually.
Okay.
So maybe this deal lets Meta boost its own internal proprietary efforts by grabbing Scale's capabilities and Wang's talent, but perhaps with an eye towards eventually strengthening their open source game too. It's an interesting take.
And it also seems to suggest Meta believes a strong business leader like Wang, someone who can build and scale infrastructure, is what they need right now.
Exactly. Which is maybe a bit different from some other AI labs that are led more by pure researchers, perhaps coming straight from academia. It suggests Meta's really focused on execution, on building products, not just research breakthroughs.
Makes sense. So what about the ripple effects, the market reaction? You said it was immediate.
Oh, yeah. Pretty significant. We're already hearing that other big-scale AI customers think Google, Microsoft, even Elon Musk's xAI are apparently having urgent talks with Scale's competitors.
Really? Looking to move their business?
Exploring options, yeah. Looking to shift some of that crucial data labeling and evaluation work. It just shows how vital Scale AI had become and how this Meta deal instantly changes the competitive dynamics.
But not everyone is jumping ship. What about OpenAI? They're a huge Scale customer.
Right, that's the interesting counterpoint. OpenAI's CFO, Sarah Fryer, actually came out and said they plan to keep working with Scale, even with the Meta investment.
Okay, why?
Her reasoning was interesting. She basically said, we don't want to freeze the ecosystem since acquisitions will occur. It highlights how complex these relationships are. It's like co-opetition.
Cooperating and competing at the same time.
Exactly. There's a recognition that maybe everyone needs a healthy ecosystem of suppliers, even if there are these big strategic investments happening. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket or completely cut off a key provider.
So looking ahead, What are the bigger implications here? You mentioned a new paradigm for acquisitions.
Yeah, I think this could really push things in that direction. Moving away from just buying companies outright towards these more targeted deals focused on getting specific talent, getting influence, but letting the company still run itself, more or less.
A template for future AI deals, maybe? Especially to avoid those regulatory fights.
Could be. It offers a way to gain strategic advantages, tech, data, key people, without necessarily taking on the full regulatory burden of a traditional merger. It's definitely a more agile way to grow or acquire capabilities.
And then there's the AGI race, the big one, this new superintelligence lab at Meta. That feels like a major escalation.
Undeniably. I mean, you take Wang's deep expertise in building the data infrastructure, the absolute bedrock of advanced AI, and you combine that with Meta's almost unbelievable computing power.
Yeah, they have massive resources.
That combination, it could seriously accelerate progress towards AI that matches or even surpasses human abilities across the board. It's not just about making slightly better chatbots anymore. This could genuinely shorten the timeline to transformative AI.
It all kind of rests on Wang's shoulders, doesn't it? Can he actually pull off this transformation inside Meta?
That's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, his track record is phenomenal. Building scale AI from scratch to a $29 billion valuation, that's incredible. But leading a superintelligence lab inside a giant corporation like Meta, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, navigating corporate culture, existing teams, internal politics. It's not like running a startup.
Not at all. It's going to require this delicate dance between shaking things up and integrating effectively. Everyone's going to be watching to see if you can manage that.
So ultimately, this isn't just another tech deal we're talking about. It feels like a really critical moment.
I think so. It's actively shaping how AI gets developed. It's cranking up the competition, and it's potentially speeding up the path to, well, human-level AI and whatever comes next. Meta's making a huge play here to lead that next wave.
So just to wrap up the key takeaway, Meta's investment in Scale AI really highlights the shift in the AI industry. It's about grabbing talent, consolidating that critical infrastructure, sometimes in these new creative ways like minority stakes.
Right. And it's likely going to influence how other tech giants think about partnerships and acquisitions going forward. And yeah, it could well accelerate that timeline towards superintelligence by pulling key expertise into one of the world's biggest tech companies.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Given this move towards minority stakes for talent, influence, maybe avoiding regulation, and creating these dedicated labs aiming for superintelligence, how else might the AI competition landscape change?
And maybe more importantly, what does that mean for us, for society? How do we prepare for and think about the ethics and control around these potentially superintelligent systems that companies are now explicitly racing to build? Something to definitely think about.
Thank you for listening to AI Convo Cast. Please don't forget to rate, review, and share if you like what you hear. Thanks and hope to see you again next time.